Okay, this is video number 2. So the first video I was reacting to the new World's music video. Now I'm gonna be doing the patch notes for patch 9.20 of League of Legends, and I have not looked at this yet, so this will be a reaction video. And if you want to join my Discord, I'll put the link in the description. It's pretty base right now. If you have any suggestions or anything, just let me know. And my most important thing is it has Oriana bots, or it'll include like ranked regions, and I love it. So if you connected to Oriana bot, I love you, because I really like that stuff looking at it. And now into the patch notes. I'm not going to read through that because we're just doing basic reactions. There's some new High Noon skins, which is these all look pretty nice. High Noon Darius, High Noon Hecarim. I think High Noon Hecarim for the splash out, it just feels best with me, like a flaming horse. Thematically, High Noon Ash seems kind of weird, but the skin itself looks nice. It just seems weird for High Noon at the same time. Blitzcrank. So Blitzcrank got a crazy buff where his hook is a longer range last patch. So to make up for that crazy buff, they're making him a little squishier, which is very nice. He is pretty tanky, so this will, if he misses a hook, you're going to have an easier time penalizing him. So Garen, they're giving him a slight base attack speed buff, a slight health buff, a slight health. So they're just evening out the numbers over there for health. His passive will now be less effective. However, yeah, it's basically just less effective. Yeah, so they're nerfing it. Yeah, I can't see this as anything else other than a nerf. Okay, so they're nerfing his passive. It's super minor. And I think. His Q now scales with attack speed. I wonder how that looks. I haven't actually looked it up in the PBE. It sounds pretty interesting. They're nerfing his W because it was too strong. So now instead of being absolutely insane, it's going to be more of a basic thing. Not really too special. It's still the UW, so you don't take as much damage or CC, but it's just less effective. So that's a good... If you didn't like playing against Garen, this will make it better, because he'll have less stupid... Because it was stupid. It was pretty stupid. So it's a lot better off now. His E is very interesting. So now it's the amount of spins is 7 at all times and scales with attack speed. They did add 2 base spins, so they lowered the damage per spin. And they changed the 33% for a single enemy to 25% to the nearest enemy. This is overall a buff, because it's still 25% to a single enemy. But now you're still going to get the bonus if you're hitting multiple people, which is really nice. You now have to spin 6 times instead of 4 to get the shred, which, if you're not building attack speed, is a nerf. If you're building attack speed, I'm gonna say it's about the same, but if you're not building attack speed, it's a nerf, because you're not gonna get more spins as the game goes on as much, and the ratio is, it takes longer to get the shred off. A nice thing though is his E now grants Conqueror stacks, so now Conqueror is more viable on him, because you can just E, and your E will get the full Conqueror, which is very nice. His passive, so they got rid of Villain. I don't like this. Villain was a very fun thing. The fact it was true damage to the villain was really nice. This is overall just a nerf. Can I say it's over? Yeah, it's overall a nerf. Like, you can argue that now that it's true damage all the time, it's a buff. But it's overall, I'm gonna say it's a nerf. They did give a nice quality of life to him, so now when you are, a person can't dodge it by like flashing in the bush or something. This will lower the ability for you to outplay, so you're like, oh, he's about to ult me. I can just make him lose vision, which was very nice. I love that so much. So I don't like this this change, but I think overall it's a nice change for Garen. Good, it's good for him, a good balance change. Ooh. I do not like this change. I do not like this change. Okay, so now Ivan's a range champ, and I don't like that. So there is good part to this. The good part to this is now he's ranged, so I guess his ganks are a little better without having to use his bush. But he can't get like Relic anymore if he was going like support Ivern. His bush is a little more useless. Something about runes. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like this change. But it's not too bad. Lysandra, her armor went up slightly. Her passive damage ratio went up quite a bit, and her W. Lysandra is going to be a monster with this. This is a huge buff to Lysandra, and she, even though you don't see her that much, she is a fairly decent champ if she does it. And with this change, she has a lot more potential to pop off. She's going to have a little more armor, so she'll survive better in the lane. And then she'll just have a lot better scaling. That's 20% more damage to his, 20% of her AP more damage to her burst. And if she gets a kill, that's 20% of her AP more damage to like her. This is a nice buff for her. Yeah. I don't know how I feel. Like I get she's not relevant really, but I don't like that. Okay, so Pantheon, yes, he loses quite a bit of games, but he is a very strong champion. So they are pulling back on his Q scaling. It's really minor. It's not too much because he does lose a significant amount of games in my experience. But he can pop off and stuff. So he is a pretty balanced champ. Yes, his E reduces everything, and he has the most. I believe he still has 355 movement speed. So, but he still manages to lose. So minor buff to his Q scaling. I think this is a good change. I like it. Kiana. Kiana's just garbage. Like, yeah, she can do stuff, but they just keep nerfing her for obvious reasons because she always pops off. Yes, she manages to lose games, but you'll always see Kiana with a really nice KDA. So this change is needed because she'll just do like a Q, a W, a Q, and the person's dead. So this will make you have more chance of playing against her in the early game. Ooh, I heard some nice things about this Shaco. Ooh. So they nerfed his AD and AD growth slightly, but they did that because now basic attack, his passive, his basic attack in enemy now deals an additional 10 to 25 from behind, and that scales with bonus attack damage and can crit. And his E, the Shiv, it will now do bonus damage from behind as well. It's not that much, but it's there. His Q, level 1 Q, much more effective. Instead of 1.5 seconds, it's 2.5 seconds. I think originally, before they did all the changes, it was 3.5 seconds. Don't quote me on that. They did nerf the late game potential with it. But mainly when I use it, it's mainly because of the blink. The blink is what really matters to me. I can go over walls and stuff. And then the stealth is what makes it be better for ganking because they don't see you. They lowered the cooldown. They got rid of They got rid of the passive that reduces cooldown, but because they lowered it by 4 seconds. Basically, this is a buff unless you build full attack speed, in which case you can say it might be or full cooldown. So you can say it might be a nerf in that scenario, but overall this is a buff. You can argue in some ways it's a nerf, but overall it's a buff. His Q now has better base damage, but it's scaling. There's no more AP scaling. The bonus attack damage scaling is worse. So yes, they buffed the damage, but the scaling is much worse. However, you're guaranteed, if you hit from behind, to do 130% crit. Which for Assassin Shaco is pretty nice. Okay, so Jack in the Box. When triggered, the boxes can now attack multiple enemies in an AoE range. This is huge. So even though Shaco is a full-on single-target champion, I would always have the most damage in the game playing AP Shaco. So if this changed, now being AoE, I can clear waves much more effectively, and I can just dominate the enemy team more effectively because they'll all be getting hit. I can clear my jungle more effectively because they'll all be getting hit. And this is a huge, huge change. And the AoE damage is less than the actual damage with having a 10% scaling. And it's a lower damage, but it's still damage. Non-champions fear duration. So non-champions will always have a 2-second fear. That's a huge buff. When you're in your jungle and the jungle has a 2-second fear, or your minions have a 2-second fear, that's a huge buff to that clear. The only thing that's really... No, even that's... Minions and monsters will run away less, and champions are still going to be slow. So it's... This is a huge buff. I don't know if this patch is live now. I think it goes live tomorrow. I'm probably gonna be playing only AP Shaco, to be honest. His 2-shift poison now does magic damage again, which is huge for him because now magic pen is more effective on him. Before it being physical damage sucked because you're not gonna build armor pen. It's just not gonna do damage, and everyone has higher base armor. No one has magic resist. Base magic resist is always very low, so this is a very nice change for him. The base damage went up, the AD scaling went down, and the AP scaling went down, which kind of sucks. Because it's magic damage, it's still very nice. And now, instead of doing bonus damage based on missing health, it's going to be 50% bonus damage when they're below 30 health. So as an execution, this ability is much better. Yeah, so you might look at it like the scaling's a lot worse, but because it's magic damage, that's just huge. Even if you go 80 Shaco, because then you surprise the enemy with magic damage. So if they're building armor against you. So now his R, when it explodes, it's going to instantly trigger the boxes. This is also really huge. You get it in a good location and just instantly activates them. Fearing the enemy. That's very nice. The damage on the explosion is much more... It was already pretty garbage, but now it's even more garbage. So the whole AP Shaco pentakill with the R is just not a thing with this. But the boxes themselves did get buffed. With the exception of a level 16 Shaco, it is a slight nerf. But really nice buffs for him. I love it. I love playing Shaco. So quality of life, added a resource bar, so it's easier for someone to track her own passive. Okay, so just another bar that only she can see. So you still have to click on her to see. Okay. Giving Varus some general reliable power. So we got 2 more AD, a little more mana regen, and it's minor, but that's they've been doing a lot of 2 AD buffs. This is a nice buff for him. That's a nice buff for him. Makes him more relevant. Victor. So now his passive his Q no longer scales with mana, which in majority of cases kind of sucks for him. Let me think for a second. Yeah, in the majority of cases it kind of sucks for him. Slow enemy. Direct hits slow enemies by 20%. I don't understand. Oh, does this mean... Okay, I think I understand. So his Q... So basically you don't have to build Rylai's. What... If I'm understanding this correctly, you do not have to build Rylai's on Victor. Because his Q and his E will slow the enemy. If I'm understanding this correctly. Okay. That's a nice change. I mean, yeah, it doesn't bring them to the center anymore, which was pretty scary. If you get brought to the center, that's pretty scary. That's no longer a thing though. Chaos Storm will continue chasing enemies even after. That's a nice buff. Can now move through terrain. That's a scary buff. Having a Chaos Storm move through terrain. The tick is now every 1 second instead of every 2 seconds. Yeah. So it's still the same damage, it's just now it's going to tick twice as fast, which is very nice for him because that whole 2 second tick thing was kind of garbage. So having it tick every second is very nice, I like it. When it upgrades, it's just slightly faster. Locket got a 90. Well, okay, I shouldn't say 90. 90, yeah, 0 to 90. Level 1, 90. No, level 1, 85. Level 18, 0. So Locket got a nice little buff there. Rushing Locket is now more effective. Adding friends via social... Wasn't that already a thing? Players will no longer be able to add friends through social media. Okay. No longer be okay, so there's no more... You can't be connected to Facebook anymore. A bunch of bug fixes. We're not gonna go through these bug fixes and upcoming skins. Okay, that's it for the patch 9.20. 20-minute video for patch 9.20. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and what is your favorite part of this patch? I know mine is definitely hands down the Shaco, but there's a lot of nice things. Some things I don't agree on. Some things I do agree on, like the Garen change. Well, I agree on overall changing him. I just don't agree on getting rid of the villain part. But let me know what you think below. I am now going to record my TFT video. And good luck on the battlefield, summoners.